Oh, yes. God, because it's 9 years ago, so it's like fucking...
Facebook will permit users to change their privacy settings only if they guess the word contained in a locket worn by Mark Zuckerberg. Newt Gingrich's handlers remind him to stay on his uninspiring, belittling message. And an exhausted sweatshop worker just has to laugh after sewing her fingers together. And now the weekly fear responsible for my third and largest diagnosed stress ulcer. It's the Onion Week in Review. Pushed to the breaking point after constantly being taken to task without ever hearing a word of thanks for what it does around here, an overwhelmed and infuriated nation announced Wednesday that it was trying, okay? Jesus Christ. A poll of the American populace revealed that 33% felt they were doing pretty damn well, all things considered, while another 28% just wanted 2 measly minutes without somebody breathing down their goddamn neck.
We're trying as hard as we can here. How about cutting some little slack for a change, huh? You know what? This is just bullshit. I do not need this shit.
Fucking Christ almighty, sources added. Disturbed Capitol Hill insiders reported Monday that members of Congress were eerily cooperative and agreeable throughout the day's legislative sessions, prompting widespread fear and confusion across Washington. As politicians engaged in what was described as a truly disconcerting amount of cordiality, agreeableness, and constructive debate, spooked observers speculated as to what foul motive could be behind such unprecedented behavior.
They were putting the well-being of the country before their own self-interest. It makes me worry something's going to happen. Something bad.
By Monday evening, supermarket shelves had been picked clean, and millions of panicked Americans had withdrawn all their savings in cash, pleading the president to restore bitter acrimony to Congress immediately. A group of female friends spent a raucous night on the town Thursday, validating the living shit out of each other.
You're the most talented person I know.
Eyewitness reports say the women absolutely went to town on a session of non-judgmental reassurances, knocking back self-esteem boosters like there was no tomorrow.
Last night was crazy. I don't even remember half the uplifting things I said to Karen. We've always been the kind of group that listens hard and consoles even harder.
In this week's edition of The Outside Scoop, Jackie Harvey gets bit by the Oscar bug again. And in other news, a group of semester at sea students steal an anchor for their dorm room. A 5-year-old wants to be an overworked Haitian nanny when he grows up. And every group of friends at a karaoke bar ruins every other group's night. Do not be gripped with panic when your eardrums stop receiving the sound of my voice. Simply visit theonion.com/newsbeat to hear it again.
Jesus.
A new poll shows the GOP nomination is now a two-way race between Mitt Romney and total voter apathy. Cartoon Network celebrates Black History Month, and a local suitcase looks forward all year to the carousel ride. Just look at you, still held prisoner by your outdated concepts of morality and journalistic ethics. In many ways, we pity you. It's the Onion Week in Review.
Okay.
President Obama is being blasted this week after it was
2012.
revealed that he has been living in a lavish neoclassical mansion while the majority of Americans struggle to make ends meet. Many critics have pointed to the president's palatial 132-room estate, complete with 5 personal chefs, a live-in maid service, and a 24-hour security detail, as a clear sign that Obama is out of touch with ordinary citizens.
I'm working 2 jobs, trying to keep my head above water, and this guy is flying in a private jet to Germany just to have dinner with Angela Merkel.
Pointing out that Obama has indulged in such wild extravagances as keeping Abraham Lincoln's bed in a guest room of his home, Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney pledged Tuesday that he would sign a lease on a modest studio apartment in Arlington, Virginia, should he be elected president in November. Sources at the Huffington Post confirmed this week that employee Henry Evers died Thursday after being sucked into the website's massive content aggregation turbine. Evers was reportedly killed when he tried to dislodge a 700-word Time magazine piece addressing the Middle East uprisings that had become wedged in the powerful news repurposing machine. The automated mechanism, which was developed by Greek billionaire and company founder Arianna Huffington, rapidly gathers vast numbers of articles from the internet with its rotor assembly, rebrands them with the Huffington Post name, and indiscriminately ejects them onto the site's homepage.
I saw some New York Times articles and celebrity anti-vaccination editorials backing up, and I realized that Henry had been pulled headfirst into the rotary case. We couldn't shut it down, and we would have risked missing a breaking story on Brody Jenner.
In response to the accident, Huffington released a statement saying her site will publish a slideshow Monday in Evers' honor, entitled The 25 Funniest Animal Photobombs Henry Would Have Loved. Officials at the U.S. Food and Drug Administration called an emergency press conference Tuesday to urge all Americans to check out a really weird-looking potato. According to FDA Chief Dr. Dr. Margaret Hamburg, the half-pound root vegetable was discovered Monday evening by an agency employee while food shopping at this Maryland grocery store. Hamburg also announced the launch of a new informational website featuring dozens of pictures of the potato from every angle, as well as several speculative reports addressing what could have possibly happened to make the tuber look so fucked up. Additionally, FDA officials said that the vegetable would be kept in a climate-controlled environment in order to avoid the mistakes that were made last year with a tomato that looked like a butt. And this week in sports, Eli Manning is still waiting for a definitive reply after asking his brother Peyton if he can stay at his house in Indianapolis when the Giants quarterback is in town for the Super Bowl. In other news, a new study reveals that the majority of suicides occur while trying to put a fitted sheet on a bed. Syria announces it's running dangerously low on citizens to oppress, and a local man thinks it's nice they didn't put the prettiest Girl Scouts on the cookie box. For the last time, the Onion Week in Review refuses to address the tawdry rumors concerning its ongoing relationship with Boardwalk Empire star Paz de la Huerta. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Sweet.
A new law prohibits kaleidoscoping while driving. The nation's 90-somethings gear up for the last year of their lives, and Vice President Joe Biden puts up a flyer advertising guitar lessons on a White House bulletin board. You may now stop the continuous playback loop of the previous review and begin playing this video 24 hours a day at full volume. Welcome to the Onion Week in Review. From coast to coast and town to town, in nearly every public meeting space and private residence, millions of Americans have been captivated, inspired, and in some cases even moved to tears by Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney. All signs that the nation has undeniably been swept up in full-scale Romney mania. The raw energy and enthusiasm of Romney, coupled with his uplifting story of rising from moderate wealth to overwhelming riches, are just some of the reasons reverent portraits of the former Massachusetts governor have started appearing in windows across the country, often accompanied by one of Romney's signature inspirational phrases, such as "Let Detroit go bankrupt" or "Corporations are people." Additionally, radio stations from every major market have reported being bombarded day and night by callers wishing to publicly express their adoration of the candidate.
When he says raising taxes for the rich is class warfare, it's like he's speaking directly to me.
I waited like 12 hours to hear how he'd reversed his stance on universal health care. It was incredible.
Mitt, I love you.
This recent message from Mitt Romney's Twitter feed has already been retweeted more than 150 million times. A month after the death of leader Kim Jong-il, North Korea's 24.5 million citizens have returned to their regular daily routines this week, holding a festive synchronized disco jump rope gala in Pyongyang's main public square. Life in the hermetic communist nation is reportedly beginning to normalize following the protracted mourning period, with citizens once again donning their brightly colored uniforms and performing intricate gymnastics routines in perfect unison.
It is an inspiring sight to see so many loyal citizens find the strength to unfurl their long silken streamers and do dozens of tandem backflips set to dance music.
Observers reported that new North Korean leader Kim Jong-un nodded once in approval of the disco jump rope gala, signaling an official transfer of power. The nation was once again wowed this week by the feats of very strong little boy Michael Sartinsky, who, after removing his t-shirt to better display his impressive physique, deadlifted an entire frozen turkey over his head and held it aloft for 3 full seconds. The latest demonstration of the pint-sized muscle man's almost inhuman abilities comes on the heels of multiple accomplishments involving incredible displays of speed, strength, and endurance. Over the past 4 months alone, Sartinsky cleared the 3-foot chasm between his brother's bed and his own, beat his fully grown Uncle Scott in a foot race, and threw a tennis ball clear onto the roof of his 2-story house.
Pound for pound, I honestly don't think there's a stronger boy on earth. Have you felt his muscles? They're like solid rocks.
And this week in science news, a coalition of researchers has come together to say that 1/3 of the world's population has to die for civilization to be sustainable, adding, quote, "How do we want to do this?" And in other news, an embarrassed Secretary of Energy Stephen Chu accidentally calls Barack Obama dad in a cabinet meeting. The world's greatest trombonist just tells people he works in marketing, and a Ron Paul supporter likes the way the GOP candidate tells it like it has no chance of being. Listen, did you hear that? It's the sound of your sheep-like video plays being turned into advertising dollars. Pure music. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
Yeah, about that. Who could that be?
The Prime Minister of Norway gets laid. Grandma updates to a cordless landline. And George R.R. Martin assures fans that these last 2 are going to be real turds. Welcome to a new year, filled with fresh and vivid reminders of your own mortality. This is the Onion Week in Review. President Obama openly asked the nation this week why on earth he would want to serve for another term, citing idiotic questions about his birth certificate, overt racism, partisan rancor, a hopeless economy, Eric Cantor, and the existence of people who literally want to shoot him dead. Obama asked a crowd of supporters to give him just one reason for seeking re-election. As of Friday, Beltway insiders are responding favorably to this new impassioned Obama, saying he reminds them of the Obama of old, before a nonsensical political system and insane populace tore away his humanity and left him for dead. Citing his erratic social behavior, nondescript occupation, and habit of accidentally walking off piers while pretending to read newspapers, acquaintances of 37-year-old Jeff Walther suspect he may be a bumbling spy. Walther, whose mysterious background and understated style are matched only by his lack of balance and coordination, sat down with an Onion reporter to discuss the local office analyst job he claims to have.
And a lot of people think it's probably very exciting, but honestly, it's kind of boring. It's a lot of paperwork. Right back.
Residents of Worcester, Massachusetts are kind of hoping a Panera Bread will show up and plow over an obnoxious neighborhood bakery. Locals have said that the soulless restaurant chain, with its simple, impersonal experience, would be just the thing to help run the precious little mom-and-pop establishment out of business.
Callahan's is really lovely and all, but it would be such a relief to have some college-aged kid take my order without making eye contact. I just need a cup of coffee. We're not friends.
A follow-up survey of Worcester residents confirmed that 72% of patrons would rather be alerted of an order by a vibrating pager than a kind-faced woman who calls everybody sweetheart. In sports, NFL coaches admitted this week that it sucks when you have to punt because that means you don't have the ball anymore. In other news, feds break up a brutal Las Vegas man-fighting ring. A Christmas card ominously makes no mention of the twins. And the Boy Scouts celebrate 100 years of preparing teens for not having cool friends. Great job. You watched a 2-minute video on a computer screen. Where should we mail your medal to, dipshit? For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat. In a major gaffe, President Obama forgets to dumb it down for the American populace. A burrito is eaten like someone in the room isn't crying, and the U.S. will give a limestone-based economy a shot starting Monday, with officials saying, quote, "It sounds weird, but you never know. Please put in your eye drops and swallow the 3 green capsules now." It's the Onion Week in Review. According to a study published Monday in the New England Journal of Medicine, getting smacked right in the mouth with a goddamn tree branch really sucks. But after a minute, you're basically fine. The comprehensive 2-year medical trial, which observed more than 400 unsuspecting volunteers receiving a full-on smack right to the mouth with a stupid goddamn tree branch, found conclusively that regardless of age, gender, or ethnicity, getting hit in the mouth with a tree branch really fucking sucked for a good minute or two, but then you're more or less okay.
It really sucked a lot to get hit in the mouth with a goddamn tree branch. I thought I was bleeding, couldn't need stitches or something. But after a few minutes, it was pretty much okay.
If you live in the Boston area and would like to volunteer for a study related to the effects of getting dinged right in the balls with a goddamn dirt clod and whether it makes you feel like you're going to puke everywhere until you sit down for a minute and take some deep breaths, please contact Dr. Marks at pmarks@bostonuniversity.edu. This week, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack continued his goodwill tour to improve U.S. relations with foreign produce by attending a meeting Thursday with a Slovenian head of cabbage. Closed-door talks with the leafy vegetable addressed the lack of arable land in Slovenia and came on the heels of Vilsack's weekend summit with Polish green beans, a state dinner with a British asparagus Monday, and last week's 4-day retreat at the home of an Italian basil leaf.
It's no secret, Secretary Vilsack and the cabinet have had their disagreements on key issues in the past, but both share a pragmatic approach that makes it possible for them to find common ground.
In local news, 23-year-old shitty graffiti artist Adam Zane has captured the heart of 19-year-old college sophomore Jessica Tisolo. Zane, who goes by the graffiti handle Slice, met Tisolo last summer at an annoyingly self-aware dive bar where the talentless artist caught Tisolo's eye with his cliched sleeve tattoos of trite Japanese imagery and the fact that he was wearing a winter hat indoors in the middle of June.
His art is really just the absolute worst. I think we're going to get married someday.
And now for This Week in Tech, brought to you by LG. An excited groom sends text messages to his buddies during his bride's vows. And a collection of VHS tapes are held onto for 1 more year. In other news, a burglar makes sure to crack the glass on a family portrait before leaving. There's nothing in the employee handbook about groping dead co-workers, an employee says. And a report finds that nobody's heard from David Blaine in a while, so somebody should probably check to see if he died in one of those things. Not but a mere 2 minutes and 30 seconds have passed, yet we feel as though we've known you 1,000 lifetimes. For more, visit theonion.com/newsbeat. Rufus Chilean miner is stuck down there again. The U.S. adds 4 million new jobs, but in St. Louis. And a brief reprieve from Mariah Carey's Christmas song comes to a resounding end. Look on helplessly in abject horror at what your world has become. It's the Onion Week in Review. Violent explosions rocked a Baghdad market today, killing 54 Iraqi citizens in not our problem anymore. The blasts were timed to coincide with the